Hi, I'm Joe,
I'm Jack.
and today we're going to be demonstrating for you how to cook and prepare a chicken shawarma and couscous Sharebowl. So, one of the first things of this dish that you're going to need to prepare is the marinade for the chicken. So, to prepare this marinade, you want to start off by taking a bowl and taking 1 teaspoon of ground turmeric, half a teaspoon of cayenne, 2 teaspoons of paprika, about 2 lemons, lemon juice and zest, and about 2 teaspoons of ground turmeric. I already said turmeric. And to finish that off, we want to add about 3 to 4 teaspoons of extra virgin olive oil. So we add all this into the bowl. It should look something a little like this. So kind of a gloopy mess at the minute. So you want to take a spoon or a fork, depending on what you have to hand, and mix up and prepare your marinade. It should start to bed up, maybe clump up a little bit, but you just want to keep working it, and eventually it'll turn into this nice, glossy, kind of rich, deep-looking marinade. And once it gets to about this, you want to set it. You don't want to touch it anymore. You just want to leave it. You want to take your chicken that you've already diced up. Now, you can use leg meat, you can use any type of meat you want. We've gone for breast today, but don't let that limit your options. So you just want to take your chicken into the marinade, hand in, and mix it all around. Making sure that the marinade gets a nice, not something like that. Making sure the marinade gets a nice even coat around all the chicken. And once we have that marinated, you ideally want to be able to leave this sitting for 12 to 24 hours to get the maximum flavour out of all those spices. So you just bit of clean film into the fridge and forget about it. So thankfully, for that exact reason, this is one that we prepared earlier. It's been left sitting for 12 hours. So all those beautiful, delicious spices have been marinating in that meat. So it's going to be absolutely amazing. And so Jack is now going to explain to you how to prepare the couscous whilst we allow this to just sit in the marinade for a little bit longer.
So to make the couscous, all you need to do is measure out the amount of couscous depending on your water. And you need to start boiling your water. Ideally we're using chicken stock to add to the couscous. And once it's boiled, which it already has because I've saved you the time, I'm going to pour it in to the bowl with the couscous. Pour it in. Then you're going to clean film around it, and what that will do is that will trap all the moisture in, therefore letting the couscous absorb it and just becoming, well, cooked and fluffy couscous. And that's all you have to do to make it. Very simple.
Very simply, you just sit and you allow all the moisture to be absorbed into the couscous. Now, that process can take, how long would you say?
I would say about 7 to 10 minutes.
So after about 7 to 10 minutes, being conservative, you should have something that looks a little bit like this here. And once it starts to look a bit like this here, what you want to do is you just want to take a fork, any type of fork will do, and you start moving it about, move around the bowl, making sure it's nice and loose, and you want to start breaking it all up. And what you call this process fluffing. So you're fluffing up your couscous, making sure it's all nice and cooked, making sure none of it's bitty and undercooked and all that kind of stuff. So once that's like that, do you want to continue?
Once you've fluffed up your couscous, you're then going to start adding your ingredients to your couscous, and you can choose such a variety of ingredients, really what you want to add. Today we have picked some chopped green onion, some feta, just cubed, some sliced red onion,
Finely sliced. Some halved.
some chopped cherry tomatoes, some finely diced cucumber,
And to finish that off.
and to finish it off, you add some cilantro.
So that is.
Then you really get them with your hands, and you want to mix it all together. Make sure it's nice and homogeneous. And that is pretty much the couscous finished. That's it.
And once you get to this stage, your couscous should look roughly like this. Now, as Jack said, you can add any types of veg to this you want. You can go from, instead of red onion, you can just ordinary onions. Instead of cucumber, you can have whatever you want. You can literally add whatever you want to this because it's so interchangeable. It's so versatile is a good word for it. So now that that's prepared, we can leave this sitting at the back because we don't need to worry about this now at all for the rest of the time being. That's done, that's prepared, that's ready to go. So now that we've left our chicken marinating in this delicious marinade for 12 to 24 hours, as I said, then you want to take your pan, you want to put it on the heat, you want to set your heat to a medium to high heat, just so you get a nice sear on it. And then you want to take your, can I get past you? You want to take your olive oil, you want to get a healthy amount in the pan. And once you've got that in the pan, you want to sit there and you just want to leave that until it's nice and preheated. You'll hear a sizzle coming off the pan. And once you see a little bit of smoke and a sizzle, that's when you know your pan's ready for the chicken to go in. So now that our oil is heated up and you start to see the smoke and steam is rising from the pan, you almost want to wait until you hear a little bit of a hiss or a sizzle. And once you've reached this phase, what you want to do is you want to take that chicken that you've marinated, and once you see, you want to take a good handful and just lay it into the pan. Now don't be afraid to get your hand down close to the pan and make sure it's all nice and separated, just to make sure that everything's going to be evenly cooked. Now, when you're doing this, be careful not to get too comfortable with the heat of the pan. You want to make sure that you're being safe when you're applying the chicken in, but you also want to make sure that you're not clumping it all up in one specific area. You want a nice even cook on it, so that it all comes out at the same time and you're not worrying about extra bits of chicken that aren't quite cooked in time, that should have been cooked. Now, once it starts to heat up a bit, shave it a bit, just keep that chicken, just let that chicken sit in the pan for a minute. Just let it heat up, start to cook, and then you want to just move it around. You just want to just move it around and flip it over with you. If you don't have tongs, use something like a fork in your finger or something just simple. That's all it takes. But you want to make sure that you're rotating the chicken and making sure it's all getting a nice even cook on it. You don't want any bits that are slightly over or slightly under. You want everything perfectly cooked to the same temperature at the same time. That way you can maximize the amount of chicken that you've got with the amount of pan space that you've got. Now, this might be a little bit more difficult if I didn't have the same size of pan, but then there is nothing wrong with cooking it in 2 separate batches or 3. The beauty of this marinade is that you can make it up. You can make up as much chicken, as much marinade as you need, and just take out of it when you need through the week. You could have this maybe even set up if you wanted to do 3 or 4 nights in a row where you were having this, but you didn't want to have to go through the process of making it every single night. The beauty of this is that you can make it up on that first night, and then you just clean film, put it in the fridge, and you can forget about it. That process is done. Then you just have to worry about cooking off the delicious chicken that you've left sitting in that marinade. Right, so after about 10 minutes, that should be your chicken cooked. You want to just take it. You want to take your knife or your fork and just give it a poke in the middle. Just cut it in half in the middle, just to see what it looks like. And what you should see is this beautiful white meat. You don't want to see any translucent meat. You just want to make sure everything's nice and perfectly cooked on the inside. Once we get to this process, that's it. Take it off the heat. It's done. It doesn't need to be on the heat anymore. You can turn your hob off. You're done. You don't need it. The rest of the time, everything is now just on the plate and up. So, for this process, it's a simple midweek family dish. Don't overcomplicate it when it comes to putting this stuff up. When it comes to putting this stuff up, you want to keep it absolutely bog standard, but still looks beautiful on a plate. So, you start off with your couscous Sharebowl. So, you simply take your bowl, you take your serving spoon, and you just want to layer that bowl full. You want to maybe even take some of your pre-cut cucumber and stuff like that there and just layer it in as the stuff's being put in. Maybe add some more feta to it if there's not quite enough, or a couple more tomatoes on top. Just if you want to play with presentation, feel free to play with presentation. Once you've set that up, as simple as can be, once you've allowed your chicken to stop sizzling in the pan a wee bit and the oil stops roaring, so there's no risk of burning yourself, you just want to take your tongs or your spoon or whatever you've got sitting around handy to you and just start putting your chicken into your bowl. Simple as that. All you want to do is just lay your chicken in a bowl or on a plate or just whatever's easiest to you. And that's simply it. There's no difficult parts to this recipe. This menu can be done in under an hour on a weeknight. It's as easy as that. It's simple, quick and clean food that you can have with somebody or completely by yourself. You can have it as a family dish or you can have it as a meal after work when nobody's home. It's as simple as that.